I used to think the 750 watt Engwe EP-2 Pro was a beast, but there's a new beast. Its rear hub motor is also rated at 750 watts, but it's a beast mode 750 watts that peaks at 1000. The EP-2 Pro's big sister is here. Meet the Engine Pro. Hello! Welcome to the VRC, where we finally got around to doing a review of this e-bike from Engwe, the Engine Pro. Now, if you're watching on the VRC, you'll be seeing a shorter version of it, so if you want to see the extended version at the end of this, with all the cool extra bits, head over to the eVRC channel, where we're doing lots of stuff about e-bikes and e-skateboards and e-scooters and all that kind of stuff that everyone loves. So, let's get into it. What is it then? It's a folding fat tyre e-bike, which means it has monstrous 4-inch wide tyres, allowing it to glide over all manner of surfaces like you're the puck from an air hockey table. It folds so you can make it a bit smaller if you need to hide it under a table in your flat, but good luck getting it up there since it weighs nearly 32 kilograms. That's right, it's a folding e-bike, but only really to help you store or transport it in a car. No one is really going to be taking this on public transport and hiding it under a seat. But that's the same for all folding fat tyre e-bikes. But before we find out if it's actually any good, let's get a brief look of how it came and how easy it was to put together. The bike has a 48 volt 16 amp hour battery, an 8-speed Shimano Altus gear set. That's the one that's above the tawny one that comes on most of these bikes. The maximum load is 330 pounds or 150 kilograms. It's got 80 Newton meters of torque, hydraulic brakes and dual suspension. I really hope I'm meant to be taking this off because the steering column doesn't fit over it, or the steering stem or whatever you call it. Haha. Okay, shove that down there. And there we have the completed Engwe Engine Pro. Once it was unboxed, I charged it up in about 6 hours and I took it out for a spin. 800, 900. He reckons it's running 1000 watts and I've got 20 miles an hour now. That was fast. Oh, watch out. That was a lot faster than before. Oh, I really wish I put the mirror on the bike. This does feel faster than the EP-2 Pro, bloody hell. This is good. Wow. 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 By the way, this is a voiceover. This is not me riding, it's someone else. 26, 27. 28. Put the brakes on. This is bloody awesome. So I will say the dual suspension is lovely. One thing I'm not quite liking is the thumb throttle being on the left hand side. Not a fan of that. My hand is a bit hurting a bit. God, it accelerates immensely. It's ridiculous. Thumbnail, yeah. 27 up there. This is madness. See, you can pedal at this point, 23 miles an hour. You can pedal more to help, and you cannot do that on others. So not only has it got the acceleration from 1000 watt motor, but it's also got you helping out. See, I can help. I can actually push it to 30. For the full first impressions ride, check out the link in the description. It's on my other channel, the eVRC, where you can also watch an extended review of this bike, a speed test, hill climb test, and find out if it's faster up the hill than a budget electric skateboard. We also did a side-by-side comparison of this bike and the cheaper EP-2 Pro to help you decide
which one to get.
Now let's take a closer look at all the components of the bike. Chaoyang fat 4-inch wide 20-inch tyres, alloy wheels rather than spokes, Welgo metal folding pedals which you push. There we go. They do feel pretty sturdy. The suspension, which is lockable, so that's locked, that's open. Turn on the light here. Wiring probably could be a bit tighter. It goes underneath and it's all just kind of bunched up over there. It's fine though, it doesn't really, I don't mind. But you know, some more expensive bikes might put all the wiring hidden inside the body of the actual thing. There you can see the key under there. You can turn it once, that kind of makes it all off so no power comes out. Turn it again, you can remove it altogether, and then you can take the battery out. The saddle's the same saddle as what you've got on the Engwe EP-2 Pro. It's comfortable. I've just done quite a few miles on it and it was not painful at all. There's that nice colour screen. So look at the colour screen. You can see if you press the I button, hold it down, cycles through the eco mode, normal mode, sport mode where you can get 1000 watts. Go through the, that's the light button. You can see it dims when it's at night time. It is quite a heavy bike, but most people don't ride it like this. You got the quick release height, which my moving mirror's getting in the way. But what stops that going up even more is that wire gets pulled too tight. So you can go up to about there, but I don't really have it that high anyway.
At around €1,400, the bike is currently about €400 more than the Engwe EP-2 Pro. So why would you want this one over its little brother? Well, it's definitely more powerful than the EP-2 Pro. Not only does the motor peak at 1000 watts, allowing it to get up to speeds of around 30 miles per hour, but at 16 amp hours, the battery is larger, giving it a manufacturer stated range of 75 miles. Of course, this means you're not too heavy and you're riding in the lowest assist levels, also helping out with your own human power. In sport mode, Engwe say the bike will do about 20 miles, and in my range test, I did get that. Did I tell you about sport mode, by the way? Let me tell you about sport mode.
One cool thing about this bike is it has got 5 power levels, but it's also got 3 modes. So someone talked about being stuck in sport mode, but it's not stuck in sport mode. If you hold the button down, you can change it from eco mode. Right, I'm in eco mode now. Still on power 5, but in eco mode. I've got a power reading. It basically, we're going about 15 miles an hour, 16 miles an hour. So it looks like it wants us to have about 500 watts maximum. I'm in normal mode now. So normal mode, we look at the power reading, looks like it gives you about 750 watts. So this is normal mode. So let's go back into sport mode again. And that unleashes the full 1000 watts of the Engwe Engine Pro. Now let me talk about the gears. This is something good about this bike. The gears on this bike, unlike other folding fat tyre e-bikes that I've tried before that have about 7 gears or 6 gears, but when you get above 20 miles an hour it's really hard to actually help the bike. Whereas me, when I get into top gear, if I pedal faster I can actually push the bike along to get myself above 30 miles an hour, according to the speedo. But I have done various speed tests of this bike already, and it does generally go about 30 miles an hour. Above that if you're going down a bit of a hill.
20 miles in speed setting 5 in sport mode is a pretty good range, and if you do have a longer bike commute of say 5 to 10 miles, then this bike will blast through that there and back with ease. And if you're able to charge the battery at work, then commutes of say 20 miles would be very doable. Yes, don't forget the batteries of these things are removable, so you don't have to plug the charger into the bike. You can take the battery out and charge it in the office, as long as your boss doesn't mind, of course. So what else does that extra €400 get you over the EP-2 Pro? Hydraulic brakes for a start. If you haven't tried hydraulic brakes, then These are amazing. It takes barely any pressure at all to match the braking power of the Terminator squeezing a standard cable brake. It also has a much chunkier luggage rack, a chunkier kickstand, and of course the rear suspension, which despite not having the most travel, never bottomed out and does massively improve ride comfort. Despite all of these extras, you may think the extra €400 is a lot to pay. And to be fair, the EP2 Pro is a really nice bike. We've already reviewed it, so check that out if you want to see more of that bike. I'll put a link to it below. But do bear in mind, it has since been upgraded, so what you get now is actually even better than what we checked out. But if you do like the look of the Engine Pro, then compare it to other bikes. For example, the Engine Pro is cheaper than the cheapest Super 73. And the cheapest Super 73, the ZG, isn't the best bike. It's certainly slower than the Engine Pro, and you'd have to go quite high up the Super 73 range before the speeds overtake the Engwe Engine Pro. And at that point, you're paying well over €3,000. The lights are decent. I took the bike out at night, and whilst it doesn't light everything up like a car's main beam, it does a sufficient job of not only allowing us to see where we're going, but allowing you to be seen by oncoming traffic. Like the EP2 Pro, the bike comes with metal fenders / mudguards as standard, front and rear lights, and the rear lights are also brake lights, as well as that chunky luggage rack. The bike I was sent did feel a bit clangy as a result of those metal fenders. And that brings us on to the negatives of this bike, as just like any other bike, it's not perfect. For a start, when the bike came, I had to bend the fender arms in order to attach them to the forks, because for whatever reason, they attach in the wrong place. I also noticed that although the paint looked really good, it wasn't the best quality, because when I accidentally hit it with my ring hand, some of it came off. Also, the brake levers seem to be the wrong way around, so be careful if you want to do a turning skid, pull the wrong lever and you're going to fall over the handlebars. Also, the bike didn't come with a UK plug.
Oh, we got this adapter and this dodgy plug. Look at that in. Yeah, it's out.
Or a front reflector. Actually, it did come with a front reflector, but it was a tiny little thing and I had no idea where it had to go. And I lost it.
I found it! This little thing! What is that? It came back.
Luckily, my wing mirror has a front reflector on it. There's links for that below. It's very good and it keeps you safe. Also, the handlebars are a little narrow. I don't have an issue with it myself, but some people have found that they need wider handlebars to give them more control when they're riding at high speeds. Some people have told me that they've replaced the handlebars with BMX handlebars, which has both improved the looks of the bike as well as the maneuverability. Did I mention that the bike is clangy? It's not the most refined bike. It's big, heavy, brash, loud. But then I think that's part of the charm of this bike. It's sort of like riding a bike tank hybrid. You have to remind yourself how many premium components the bike has when you consider the price. It really is exceptional value for money. 1,000-watt, 30-mile-per-hour e-bike with hydraulic brakes, dual suspension, 8-gear Shimano Altus, and a colour screen, and with fenders and luggage rack included, generally isn't going to be sold for less than €2,000. So with the Engine Pro, you really do get more than what you pay for. You big, beautiful bull in a spode shop. If you are interested in purchasing this bike, then feel free to use the affiliate links in the description. It won't increase the cost for you, but it will help out the channel. Again, there's various other tests of this bike on my EVRC channel, as well as an extended review. If you love e-bikes, scooters, e-unicycles, electric skateboards, be sure to check it out, especially if you want to see more of the Engine Pro. So that brings us to the end. Thank you so much for watching this VRC tech video, and thanks to Chon for being this video's riding model. Until next time, ride safe.